Hey, so this is Game Pass News recording Tuesday, January 11th. And if you think you've heard this twice, you haven't. It was just your imagination. It never really happened that way. But we are super excited to have Andross here from Nintendo Pals to talk about Spelunky
Hey!
on Xbox. X will be dropping on Xbox this Thursday. But Sean, how have you been for the first time?
And there's deja vu. I, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Well, like I said, I woke up this morning feeling a little bit under the weather. Um, so skipped the gym, streamed a little bit of Firewatch, played that to the end, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Started to feel okay, so then played 45 minutes of Beat Saber, and then I sweated that much, I ended up just dying. So yeah, I'm feeling okay. My throat hurts, head still feels a bit groggy, so I think it's just a little bit of a cold that I picked up from the kids. How
I
are you,
got
Andros? How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I just got done prepping for the show. I was playing some Spelunky 2. Um,
nice.
that's a tease for what we'll be talking about later. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, just enjoying nice sunny weather here in the middle of January. I live close to the equator, closer to the equator than folks like Nick, so
Yeah.
I have not seen any snow. And I look outside and go, "Is it winter?" I don't think so.
Does Florida ever see snow? Have you ever seen snow in Florida?
No,
No.
I haven't seen it in Florida, but I haven't lived
Okay.
here super long. I'm
Sure.
I'm a transplant, so
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. It was -10 last week over here, so there's that. Um,
oh, that
That's
is
Fahrenheit. So
horrible.
what's that?
so yeah,
Gotta do my
somebody
maths.
somebody posted 3 degrees, and I was like, actually, it feels pretty good. I'm good with 3 degrees. That's 13 better than last week.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, man, let me tell you, it has been a week. I'm excited to talk about a little Xbox. We went through the sinus infection thing that I had last week. Sorry for all you people who had to listen to that. And now we're through that. I'm very excited to feel much better. Um, but we are here to talk about a little Xbox. And the first place we wanted to start, Mr. Phill Spencer had a conversation with the New York Times and dropped a bunch of fun little nuggets. Andros, when I listened or when I read the article, the interview, it made me miss Reggie. Can I tell you that for Nintendo? Like it made me miss Reggie.
yeah.
You guys,
I miss Reggie as well. I think everybody misses Reggie.
yeah.
I think Doug does a good job, but he is definitely not the showman that Reggie was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I feel like Phil is kind of like an in between of what Doug Bowser is and what Reggie was. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like he does both the showman type stuff, but he's a lot more business oriented. Not that Reggie wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's like the
Yeah.
personality is like in between those two.
Yeah, I can't remember the Dallas Mavericks guy that always wants to get involved in like issues and stuff, but I feel like that's Phil. He always like he wants to keep the business, but he also is like, listen, we got stuff. I know that I'm the head of this company, and if I talk about this, it's going to make it into the light. It's going to make it into the limelight. It's going to become a talking point. And so he definitely is smart about using that just how he needs to get what he wants done, or to get at least what he wants talked about. So, and I really appreciate it. Um, Today, or in this article, the first thing I thought was very interesting. He talked about wanting a cross-platform ban. I thought this was very interested, coming from a couple of really interesting videos from a female streamer who had to deal with real jerks in Halo Infinite, and we all know there are jerks on these different video games that I don't know. They just don't want to be nice. And so he was talking about how they have a lot of analytics to ban people or to shut down conversations when they feel like they're going in a destructive manner. And he was hoping that maybe he could reach across to the other companies and see if he could get a cross-platform ban from Sony and Nintendo and everything like that. So what do you guys think about that idea?
I personally quite like the idea, and I'm surprised there isn't something in there already. That if you're playing Warzone, Fortnite, Apex Legends, that style of game, Roblox, you're playing that kind of style game, that the server isn't run like supported by Xbox all on its own. I'm surprised there isn't something there already where like you can flag it with Xbox and Xbox automatically go, well, this isn't like this isn't a gamer tag that's attached to us, but it's the unique ID from Activision or Blizzard or Epic Games and stuff like that. This is their tag.
Mm-hmm.
Can you deal with them? This is like, I can't believe there isn't already a reporting process in place for that. Because as the gamer, you kind of have to say, like, report it to Xbox and or report it to Activision. I can't believe there isn't a method in place already to do that.
This is kind of in your wheelhouse, Andross. I mean, I know I've seen you on Fortnite quite a bit with Micah. So, what have you dealt with this, or how do they deal with this? You know about that?
I don't know because I don't play a whole lot with randos.
Oh, okay, I got you. That makes sense.
And for me, it's like it's definitely a safety thing. It gets very toxic online when playing with other people in competitive games. It's an unfortunate culture that exists in the gaming space for online games, especially for shooters. It seems like that's really bad.
I'm gonna say, whenever I used to get a win in Warzone with the group of people that I used to play with, it kind of, even while you're in the team chat that you're in, once you win, it opens you up to the full game chat, and the amount of people that be like, "Oh, sure, and it's like, geez, come on, it's just a game. I'm sorry I won. I'm sorry I beat you, and I'm better than you at this game." But but yeah, it gets there fast, and it's not nice. So
I've gotta say, I'm a little confused by Phil's statements, because he is saying that he wants like a cross ban program. And is that for the companies to have, like if they say this person was flagged for like some issue in a game that like Xbox themselves says is a problem, they want other companies to also flag that person as a problem? Or is this for reports given from gamers? And is it because he also mentioned like it would be nice if you had like your ban list of people that you don't want to play with because you had bad experiences with them, and that just carried over to every platform you were on, or every game that you did with that company, which both of those things sound like good ideas, but I don't know. I wasn't sure exactly what he was targeting.
I think I think what he would like, from how I read it, is he would like for Xbox to say, or for if Xbox said this person was banned, for then PlayStation to also say, okay, well, if they're banned for a month on Xbox, you're also banned over here as well, to kind of amplify that punishment, if you want to call it so. But when I read that, I was like, well, that seems really. I mean, you'd have to. I'm sure in the age of the internet we're in, you could figure out who is who. Who, if Nintendo is also a different person on PlayStation, I'm sure you could figure that out by email or whatever metrics they use. Phil probably knows this is already done and it's not hard at all. But yeah, in my head I was like, well, how are they going to know that person on Xbox is this person on a PlayStation? But I'm sure they can figure that out.
I know for a fact that with Activision, you set up an Activision account and you get an Activision ID. That Activision ID you then have to link to your Xbox account or your PlayStation account. And if you link, because I've done it before, I used to play like Call of Duty multiplayer on the Xbox and on the PlayStation, depending on who I was playing with. Because I had friends that had a PlayStation, I had friends that had an Xbox, and it was before that whole cross-platform thing came in. And all that information carried across. So all like the XP level that I was at, like the stuff that I'd unlocked, was all the same across both PlayStation and Sony, because it was done via Activision. So that information is already there straight away. That's why I was going back to like the unique ID from Activision is already linked to those. So all it'd take is Xbox to turn around to Activision and say, we've banned this player for a month. Crack on and ban him across all platforms. So.
I'm all for it.
It kind of segues into I think it was this in the same, it wasn't the same article, but close to it, on Phill talking about their relationship with Activision Blizzard right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of took an opposite stance in that regard, in that he felt like it's not the company's spot to virtue shame companies for things that they're doing. And I just thought it was, I don't have an opinion on this specific topic, but I just thought it was interesting that he wants permaban on this end to like keep the bans across, but for Activision, he's like, well, I don't want to ban Activision. Like it was just kind of funny, because I mean it's not so black and white, obviously. But.
Yeah. No, I think there's a couple things there. If you from how, like, it works in my head, because if you ban a player, you are doing it, you're not telling the world this person is banned. You know what I mean? Like but if you come out in, like he is in this article, he was asked about Activision, and if he comes out and says, listen, Activision, he did that all wrong and blah blah blah, I think he's nervous about being like, well, listen, yeah, they did something wrong. And he said in here, we don't, let me see if I can get, let me just read it. The work we do specifically with a partner like Activision is something that obviously I'm not going to talk publicly about. We have changed how we do certain things with them, and they're aware of that. But this isn't about, for us as Xbox, virtue shaming other companies. Xbox's history is not spotless, which I thought was very interesting for him. That's the end of the quote. Xbox's history is not spotless, which I appreciated his transparency that, listen, we're not perfect here either. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that he didn't want to come out and just say they've been awful. He did want to make the statement, though, that we see it and we've done something different about it. So yeah.
Yep. I think that should be handled privately, honestly, the way they're doing it, unless it gets worse, which more stuff has come out, but it's not like new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least that I know of. I could be completely.
Yeah, I haven't followed.
I'm sitting over here in Nintendo land. I don't know what's going on over at Activision Blizzard. And
see, I mean, I've typed this into chats maybe, so I don't mind a little bit of back and forth with people. Sometimes I've gone into solo games on Warzone, or even just jumped in like with trios and duos and quads with absolute randoms, and I've ended up with people from France, Germany, America, all over the place. And sometimes, like, some people don't talk, sometimes people do talk, and then, like, if you start playing pretty bad in the game, like, oh, come on, mate, and you're back and forth between each other. But I've met some really good friends because of that back and forth, that ability to kind of lightheartedly have a bit of banter and back and forth between each other, and then you end up like, I've made a couple of friends with French kids and stuff when I've played having like working shifts, I get a lot of time off during the day sometimes. So playing with people in different time zones is something that I always end up doing. It's when it starts becoming toxic and you start getting that bullying aspect in, because then you can't get away from that, and it's constantly repeated. They can send you messages, they can send you like voice messages. And then because things like Xbox profiles can be linked to Facebook profiles, which then, you've got that element of you can just be tracked and talked about. And, we've had people that from online communities that have traveled on a plane to a different country to then end somebody else's life because of something they've said online. It's that there comes a limit, and I can fully get behind what Phil's saying with it's a cultural effort to try and build the trust for people to kind of feel safe when playing online. I like with Logan being 4 and wanting to play games and stuff, and I can see it happening as he gets older. But I don't want him to be subject to that. I don't want my eldest daughter to be subject to that kind of like back and forth if she doesn't feel like she's enjoying that back and forth and that it's becoming too much. So cyberbullying's awful. because it can't be escaped. When we were younger and we got bullied in the playground, it was kind of like you went home and the bullying stopped at school, and you could sometimes talk to your parents about it, and it eventually gets stopped. Cyberbullying is awful because it's just constant. It's from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, and even for some people, it continues while you're asleep because your phone just constantly pings, and pings. So if more companies can get behind what Phil's saying and help that, it's a great thing to stop.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. Anything they can do, I think, is great. I think it's good that Phil's trying to take some sort of a, I don't want to say a lead, but he's trying to bring it to the spotlight to hopefully see what can be done. And so, do you feel glad you don't have to really deal with any of this, Andross? I mean, as much as Nintendo gets bagged on for cruddy, like online, that doesn't.
I know
allow you to
everybody's
chat and
complaining
blah, blah,
about
blah, blah, blah.
like,
Yeah,
man, there's no online voice chat and there's no. I'm like, yeah, I think it's definitely intentional. Nintendo knows their audience is very family friendly. You know, like that's the bulk of their audience is families. So across the spectrum and age range, and so limiting that communication over voice chat is the best you can do to keep things.
Not everybody has a fat, depressed four to jump on the mic and defend them like Krog in Infinity War. No, sorry, Endgame.
Yeah.
Soon as that's the first thing I always go to when I think of like somebody getting
noob master. Yeah.
He's calling me a dickhead again.
Yeah, and I'll admit I don't experience it because I also don't play. I mean, I don't play online hardly at all. It's just not my cup of tea. I like to play with, I'll play online with like you guys, people from the Discord and stuff like that. That's cool. But I just don't play with randoms that much at all. So, but I know I've seen enough videos and stuff like that to know that it's out there. And anything that can be done to rectify the issue, I'm all down for. So I'm happy that Phil's out there doing what he can. The last piece on this article before we move on, quote from Phill again: "Supply is actually as big as it's ever been. It's that demand is exceeding the supply for all of us. At this point, we've sold more of this generation of Xboxes, Xbox Series X and S, than we had any previous version of Xboxes." End quote. Does that surprise? It surprised me. Does it surprise you guys? Supply is actually as big as it's ever been.
Well, no, because I'm assuming that because the demand is so high and the supply, and it's exceeding the supply, as soon as there is one available, people are buying them because they are like rocking horse crap. So, does that kind of big up the hype? Buy one because you can get hold of one, even if it is to sell it forwards. That doesn't matter to Xbox or PlayStation. Somebody has bought that console, you become part of the numbers. So if a scalper buys 200, he's just, wow, we've sold 200 units. Xbox don't care where they're going as long as they've been sold.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that he specifically says that it's sold more than any other generation, which that does surprise me. That I mean, they didn't give specific numbers, but has it already outsold Xbox 360, which I think is their top selling?
They said that they've hit. I believe they said they've hit 12 million. I'm fairly certain. I'm gonna look that up though, just to make sure.
Those are baby numbers. I'm over here with the Switch at 80.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. I mean that is you're kidding, but you're not.
I'm in here bringing the toxicity that we're talking about.
you want to talk numbers? This little thing over here, because people couldn't get hold of Xboxes and PlayStations and Nintendo Switches at Christmas time. This thing here outsold the lot at Christmas. They
Oculus outsold Xbox.
Yep.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody.
If you couldn't buy a free £400 PlayStation or Xbox because you couldn't get hold of it, and you had that money there, and you want to buy them a piece of tech, people bought that because it was there. There was that many of them in the stores.
Yeah.
So
So yes, they have shipped over 12 million shipped. So those aren't sold. But they've shipped 12 million so far is what they're now reporting.
It's good. It's good for the companies. I mean, it's not awesome for the consumers because there's not enough supply, but it's good signs for how healthy the Xbox market is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's good for them. And when it and we say this all the time, when one wins, if they all win, then that's great. I mean, it only helps us all really in the end. The more we can they continually bump each other up, then that's all the better. But speaking of the Series S and X, they are seeing some hardware issues. I have not seen any of these. Have you seen either of these, Sean?
The unresponsive guide buttons, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on which game or application, Twitch being one of the big ones on my Series X, the home button, if you press it, it just does not do anything, and then you press it again and it registers that you've held it down because I don't know if it's just how it's handling that piece of information as it comes through. As for the 4K stuff, I haven't watched anything in 4K with it yet. So,
well, good news. If you buy a Series S, there's no issues with 4K DVDs dipping. So, just gonna let you know, mine's been real solid on that. Absolutely.
I mean, you asked Sean if he's seen. I haven't seen the issues either. In case you were wondering, Nick.
I appreciate that. He's been shoving 4K DVDs in his Switch now for a couple.
Yeah,
weeks.
I haven't seen any of these Xbox problems. For those that are listening that don't know, I don't have an Xbox. It's a little blasphemous to have me on this show, but I've played games.
You played Game Pass, so
I've played a game on Game Pass. One. That's right. That's enough. That's all you need. So let me tell you, the entry standards are low for guesting on this show. So reach out to Nick, Sean.
That's right. Yeah, anybody, just hit us up. Actually, that's not entirely wrong, to be honest. We're here having fun. We like to chat, and so if you got something you're interested in, hit us up. You'd be surprised. We more than likely put you on the show.
It's a good time.
Unless it's something dark, then you have to go to a different podcast for that. You got to hit up John and Drew for that. I have not. I really haven't had any of the guide button issues at all. But that's they say it is not a patch current. They're working on it, but the patch is not currently scheduled. So sorry for that, peeps. There's always issues with hardware. It's just a thing that happens. I mean, we have our Joy-Con issues as well. So it happens.
Oh yeah.
Driftcons, yeah. But to get the reason we actually invited this guy on Thursday for the first time since the 360. First time since I looked it up.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it's crazy because this was okay. Sorry, I'm disrupting your intro.
You go. Take it. Go for it.
Spelunky. The first time it was on consoles was on Xbox. And it hasn't been there since. That was 10 years ago. I think it was 2012. 2012, I think, was when Spelunky launched on Xbox 360. And it's coming back. It's coming home, y'all. It's coming back to Xbox on Game Pass, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm super pumped because like I said, I hear so many podcasters that would talk about it when I had no access to it whatsoever. And I was like, man, I really want to know why this is such. So tell us about it.
Hang on, very quickly first.
Yeah,
you're excited about a roguelike.
I am, Sean. I was excited about Hades too, and I played it for about 3 hours. So I like to point that out. So that because I'm excited for something, y'all got to realize that because I'm excited about something does not mean that I'm going to see it through to whatever end you can get to in a roguelike, which isn't really ever an end.
Just for context, so people know, like hearing Nick say he's excited about a roguelike is like hearing somebody say they're excited for a root canal at a dentist.
Wow, it's not that bad.
It's about the same levels of of pain. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty comparable.
Okay,
I love roguelikes. Yeah, I'm coming in as I'm joking here. I love roguelikes. I loved Hades. I love Enter the Gungeon. I think that's on Game Pass as well.
Yes.
And
is it? Okay, there you go.
Spelunky is my favorite.
So what the hell is Spelunky? Tell us what it is, because I don't entirely know.
Spelunky is a roguelike platformer. So you are exploring through a system of caves, and they are randomly generated. There are different worlds with different like aesthetics and different hazards and traps, and it's hard. It's very, very fun, but it's very difficult. You play as well. Now, I wanted to clarify here because I couldn't find this information specifically. Are both Spelunky 1 and 2 coming to Game Pass, or is it just 2?
Just 2 to the what as to how I know it at the moment.
Okay. So in Spelunky 1, you play as an Indiana Jones like character. I mean, it's off-brand Indiana Jones, Spelunky man.
I like it.
And in Spelunky 2, you play as his daughter, and you are going to these caves to rescue your parents who went into the caves and have been lost. And the plot, it's very light on plot, but the plot of the game is that you go into these caves and they have a curse. When you die, it puts you right back at the beginning and you go again, and you're trying to get the ultimate treasure at the very end.
Gotcha. So I just want to make sure I understand this. You all in Spelunky 1 effed up and left your parents in the caves, and now we got to fix your problem with the daughter in Spelunky 2.
Oh yeah. No. It's a different cave.
Oh, okay.
It's a different game. So if you want me to get into some of the lore here, Spelunker man, as a result, this doesn't happen in the first game, but in the second game, he met his wife. They get married. They have a daughter. They are living life, and then he starts getting these like, whoa, what's happening? This is all like prologue, like the blip at the very beginning of the game before you even start. He starts feeling a pull to the moon. And so these caves are on the moon.
Oh.
So very quickly, Edisol is in the chat asks, does gravity remain constant? So like, is there any physics that change with that?
Yeah, gravity remains constant. You can get items. So it's very heavy on item collection. I mean, if you die, all that stuff is gone. But you can get like power-ups that will let you jump higher. There's a cape that lets you float down instead of falling down, because there is fall damage. If you fall from a certain height, you will get hurt. You are automatically equipped with bombs and ropes. Bombs, so the whole environment is destructible. Everything is destructible, so you can bomb your way down to the next room. So you start with a door, and then there's a door down at the bottom, and the complex in between that is all random. So the game is different every time you play. It's very quick. I mean, if you die, you have a quick restart button, and it just starts you right back there.
That's good.
So, I mean, it's very, very hard for me to stop. That's my problem with this game is I'm like, oh, just one more. I mean, I'll just do another one. That was a fast one. I'll just do another. Just one more round gets me, and that's how I have well over 100 hours in this game in the first 2 weeks. So
that's so. When did Spelunky 2 come out? Is that fairly new?
Spelunky 2 came out 2020. See, it came to Switch last year, and it came out a year before that. So yeah, it would have been 2020 that Spelunky 2 released exclusive to PlayStation. Then came. So it's not really that now on Switch and now on Xbox.
2020.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I know my stuff. I'm a Spelunky expert.
You are.
That's right. Totally guessing. Yeah. So I have seen some questions. I think I saw someone asking, can I play Spelunky 2 without playing Spelunky 1? Yes. In fact, I'd recommend only playing 2. If you're new and you haven't played any, just play 2. They are very much the same game, but 2 is enhanced and better. It's like I was gonna say it's like Mario 3 to Super Mario World, but people like 3 better. And I would say Spelunky 2 is an improvement in every way over the first game. But the first game is still really good. I mean, That is the only game on Steam that I have every achievement in. That's how much I loved it. I was playing all
Wow.
all
So that
of those
was
things.
that was a question from Hambo and Johnny in the Discord that asked that.
Yeah, Hambone, I read your mind. Yeah, a lot of people asked that when it first launched on Switch. Like, do you need to play the first one? No, I mean it's not story heavy. I mean we're talking
Sure.
about the same quality of story as like a Mario game.
Yeah.
You're getting from start to finish.
All right. Abby still wants to know: are parents the ultimate treasure? Don't answer that. Probably. It's probably a spoiler.
Their parents the ultimate treasure.
Are parents the ultimate treasure that you find in the game? I think is what.
Family is the ultimate treasure always, right?
Always.
Like that's what it's all about.
I was surprised. I just looked it up. I was surprised to see that this game is not coming to cloud. I feel like if I could play it on my phone in the on my backbone while I'm watching something else, that could like make me happy. But I have to.
I'm surprised as well.
Yeah, but it's coming to console, and for you PC Game Pass people, it's coming there too. What were you saying, Sean?
I was like, do you not have a Switch that you can do that with?
Yes, but I have to purchase it there, Sean. This is the problem. I have to purchase it.
Yeah,
well, try it at the buffet of Game Pass, and then if you really like it,
yeah.
Here's one of the things that draws me to this game more than any other roguelike is the multiplayer. Okay.
Oh, there's multiplayer?
There is multiplayer. You can play with up to 4 spelunkers at once. And in Spelunky 2, it is you each have your own independent screens. In the first game, you all shared one screen and there was one person and they were in control. So if you weren't that one
Animal
person,
Crossing Hell. Okay, I get it. Okay, we're good.
Good luck being the support for that one person. But in this game, you all have your own screen so you can explore separately, and it works very well on Switch. So I'm assuming it's going to work freaking amazing on Xbox, right?
Nice.
Yeah, this is Micah and I. Micah's my co-host on the Nintendo Pals. We played the heck out of the first game in multiplayer, even with the terrible multiplayer. So when this second one came in, I mean, we were in, and we're playing. So that's probably what I'm most excited about it being on Game Pass, is because the amount of people in the Game Pass community, you are going to be able to find people to play with, and this game is really fun multiplayer. It's super fun.
That actually really blew me away. I had no idea that it was a multiplayer. What's another multiplayer roguelike
game? I'm expecting a co-op stream with Nick and Sean now.
What is another multiplayer roguelike game? I'm sure there's a ton. I don't play a bunch of roguelike games.
I don't actually know of any other multiplayer roguelike games like this that have online. So it has local. So you can play local up to 4 players, and then it is the share the screen style. But you can also play online, which was not at all a thing in the first game. So that's one reason to go with 2 over 1. For sure. Yeah.
Now if I like it and I think my son's gonna like it, now I will buy it on Switch. That's 100% true.
I play with my son who loves it. He really enjoys playing this game with me.
All right. Is there an end? This is my last question, I promise. Is there an end goal, or is it always just like see how far you can get and it never ends?
No, there are 3 endings to this game. There is the mainline ending, there is a secret ending, and then there's a secret ending. And I have not hit the secret ending even close because it's so long. I think you have to do like 50 floors or something like that. It's crazy long. And there are multiple paths. So you're descending this cave, trying to get to the bottom to get the ultimate treasure. And everybody starts on the basic cave one, and then you go to you get to a spot where you get to pick between 2 doors. And you can go a underground forest route or an underground lava zone route. And you can pick between those 2. And then those both meet at a single chamber. And then that single chamber has 2 exits that you can go out of. And there's so many secrets to uncover and things to do. But I mean, just beating the game is challenging. I think like the secrets are really for the people that get really into it like me. but I mean, they're so fun to figure out. I don't know how anybody does this without looking stuff up though. Like there's some things in there that like feel very, very hard without knowing beforehand what you're supposed to do.
All right.
See now, Nick's like New Year's resolution is to finish every game he plays.
Not
So,
every
like,
game I play.
Do you,
It's just to finish
do you
many
have to
more games.
finish 3 times here?
No.
Oh, does he?
I already
no.
said no.
I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, Nick. No,
I've already said I'm
yeah.
not 100% in games. That's not my goal. My goal is to get to the end of games.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
So this would be one game. That would be. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to get to the credits of this game. I mean, it's a game where you're supposed to get a little bit better each time you die.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn like, okay, this bogus trap shot me with an arrow off screen. I'll watch for those a little bit more carefully next time. I mean, this is Indiana Jones. I mean, it is rigged to the brim with traps, like the classic rock that shoots an arrow out,
Sure.
spikes that come out of the ground. I mean, everything's marked, but there's just dumb stuff that happens. It is physics based, like Sean was saying. So if you get hit, you could get like sent into this chain reaction of your body getting ragdolled like to another trap, and then an enemy punches you, and then it's just an unfortunate chain of events. And I mean, it's hilarious. But you know, maybe the first time, and then after that, you're like, gosh dang it, I died again.
So very quickly, because this brings me into after your little blind speed run of Zelda, I wanted to look at the speed run like top like time for the speed run of this game for Spelunky 2.
It's fast. It's very fast.
1 minute 35 seconds.
Yeah, Nick, it's only a 1 minute game, so you're fine. I mean, you'll be able to beat this one easy.
You rolled credits in 1 minute and 35 seconds.
1 minute 35 seconds and 500 milliseconds, and the difference between the top 2 is like 50 milliseconds.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's
I feel like that guy broke the game. I feel like that's what happened there.
They do not actually. They are using in-game items and getting incredibly lucky. Yeah, I think the speedrun doesn't use any glitches as far as I know. It's just there's a teleporter item in the game. It is so incredibly dangerous. If you miss teleport into a wall, you're dead. It's instant death. But these guys are just throwing runs at the board, you know, like throwing bodies at it enough times that they're getting this crazy time.
Yeah,
it's an episodes 9,000 restarts just to get that one run.
yeah. You know it.
That's the real time I want to know. How many times with all the restarts did it take?
I am trying right now to get the achievement where you beat the game in under 10 minutes, and that's a struggle. I've struggled with that.
Man, that's nuts. Well, that's cool. Actually, you know, I was excited to try it. I never thought that I would get super into it, but with a co-op mode, if I think my son could like it, then I could see me getting into it. That would be something. By the way, I just want to call out your cat in the back, Andross. He's awesome. He keeps jumping back up and down that whatever's back there, and I really enjoyed watching him back and forth. I think we're gonna get a cat cam here, and I'm all in for it. Yes.
This is Midna. Midna the cat.
Midna, nicely named. Good job.
It's not showing up great because it's all
Hi,
black.
Midna. No, black cats are the worst. Our cat is black, and it's like trying to get a picture of a black cat just looks like a blob in the middle of the picture.
It's true.
So,
yeah. Ever since I started doing, I got the nicer camera setup here, so I don't have my green screen blocking my messy kitchen. Instead, it's just blurry. So there you go. But people always love to see the cat jumping up back there because that's where her food is up on this little table.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Mine just comes.
That's how people know it's a real background and not a green screen. They're like, "Oh, things are moving back there."
I just thought maybe you were fancy and you looped in a cat to jump every once in a while. Like a small cheetah or like a
I'm
cheetah
not even
just
real.
walks
This
by.
is all. I am a virtual streamer, a VTuber. So you know.
Nice. I love it. That's good. All right. So those are our top stories. We're gonna hit some news bulletins real quick here. We don't spend a bunch of time on these. If anybody has something they want to say on them, stop me. yell at me, whatever, just talk over me, do what you want to do. Forza Horizon 5 surpasses 15 million players because that's how we do stuff nowadays. We don't talk about games because we have Game Pass and nobody buys anything on the Xbox platform anymore. This one actually could have been a top story if we didn't have so much to already talk about. RPG Golf, January 20th, comes to not Game Pass. That's right, not Game Pass at this moment. Comes to Xbox and to Nintendo. So if you are a big fan of Golf Story and you still,
which I really liked, by the way.
I did as well.
That was a game I finished.
Yeah, I did as well. If you're a big fan, you might want to take a look at this, because Lord knows, who knows when we're actually going to get Sports Story. That's out there somewhere in the ether, and nobody ever talks about it on an indie anymore, on the indie platform. So
It's up there with Silk Song, wherever that is.
yeah. So yeah, I was just perusing around looking at stuff. So RPG Golf, January 20th. Might want to take a look at it. I think it's $30, but don't quote me. Hambo and Johnny's in on RPG Golf. Said it looks so good.
Of course he is. He's the golf
That's
like
true.
God. that's Hambone Johnny over there.
Hambone Johnny, aka Golf God. There you go. I like it. Amazon Studios the Fallout TV series. Amazon Studios is starting production this year. I'm actually really excited about this because I love myself an apocalyptic TV series. So hopefully they do it justice and they do a good job. That means I now have Halo and Fallout to look forward to.
See, I'm not too fussed about the Halo one, but I'm looking forward to some kind of trailer or teaser coming out for the Fallout TV series. So just to see how it's filmed, is it like, yeah. So I'd like them to try and capture that like old 1950s kind of style of filming. If they can capture that,
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, that's makes sense with the theming. Yeah.
Man, I just really want to see somebody who didn't play much of Fallout because there was a bug 2 hours into it or an hour into it, and I just decided to say screw it and move on. But man, I would really love to see
a bug in a Bethesda game.
I know
that's Bethesda, right? Like,
yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on. You are spot on.
No way.
Sorry. Yeah, no, you're. 100%.
I give Bethesda grief. I love Skyrim. I love those games. They do a great job. They are buggy though. You just kind of live with the jank.
You do, and they don't even apparently care. I mean, it was Fallout 4. It's like how old at this point, and they're just like don't worry. I mean, I just played it. Like I played it. I don't know what, December or something like that. Yeah, and it just was like, oh nope, doesn't work. You're not going to get the quest. So basically, you have to restart the whole thing. And I was like, I'm out. Anyways, that said, I would love to see the beginning of that video of that Fallout 4 in a TV series of how they play that out and how that works. That would be awesome. Also, Sean, I have a beef. You are not fussed at all about Halo?
Like, not the live action thing, no.
Really?
I don't watch a lot of TV. I very much when it comes to watching things on TV, I am really, really picky. I mean, we're currently watching Grey's Anatomy, but that's only because I kind of like half watched a little bit of it while Lindsay was watching it, and I was kind of like, okay, I find that interesting. And then that's it. I'm I'm now hooked. It takes me a lot to get into something. So like, I was big on Breaking Bad. I was big on Dexter, Spartacus. I watched a lot of that. Game of Thrones. I never finished it. The Witcher, Ozark. Like, it takes me a lot to get into things.
Apparently, there's some good scenes in The Witcher. That's what I've learned from the Dads After Dark channel at this point. So there you go. But so, are you going to even try it? Are you going to give it a shot?
It's on a streaming service that I don't pay for. So no.
Listen, we just need to get Lindsay into it, is what I'm hearing. Just like Grey's Anatomy. We'll get him in. He's right. Like, oh, this Halo show looks interesting.
I'm a sucker for like being invested in different character storylines. So yeah, if you can get me hooked into like a few different people's storylines and then like I'm just relentless. I will like so.
Gotcha.
But yeah, other than that, it takes me quite a lot. I mean, if
I don't watch a lot of TV either, Sean. I don't know how people have time, especially if you're a gamer. Like I feel like my free time in that sphere just goes to
and that's the thing is that like sitting down and watching something and not fiddling. I end up like fiddling with something all the time because if I'm watching the TV, generally I have a controller in my hand and I'm doing something.
Yeah,
I'm
I
very
can't-
much input, process, output all the time. It's just constantly going through my head. So
Yeah, I'm the same
like-
same way. I feel like I can't sit still for movies, especially. But yeah, I don't watch TV like at all.
So I'm sat here with the AirPods case because my hands aren't doing anything. I'm like to stop myself from trying to be really like while talking.
We need to get some Game Pass news brand fidget spinners or like fidget toys. Yeah. Like,
My kid's
and
got a
now here's a
poppet the
plug
size of a
for
pizza.
for this product.
Okay, so that's all of our news bulletins. Not to give you too much guff, but I just thought that was crazy. But I get it. So Andross, I'm gonna let you go first. You're the guest. What have you been playing, man? It doesn't have to be game. I mean, obviously, it does not have to be Xbox. I'm gonna be talking
I
about.
played nothing.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
talking
Very
about
quickly,
half of my
what was
games are
the
not
what was the
Xbox
one
related.
game that you played on Game Pass?
Oh yeah.
Grounded.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's Nick really excited.
Yeah. So my buddies all got the Game Pass on the $1 deal, and they're like, we should play some of these multiplayer games together. And the only one we were able, like the only time we were able to all coordinate within that 3 months was like once to play Grounded. Part of the problem is we got another game, which I'll talk about in what I've been playing. But Grounded, I really enjoyed. I think it's fantastic. I didn't play enough of it, but yeah.
I have 5 days of gameplay in Grounded.
There you go. So wait, 5. So that's like 24-hour days.
Yeah,
Yep.
literal
Okay,
days.
so like 130 hours.
Yep. Also explains why I got nothing done. Why I finished absolutely nothing on Game Pass last year. Because
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
it's really fun. I think it's a great game.
Yeah. Ebucel just says, "Isn't that a game? Isn't that just a demo?"
yeah,
Grounded.
it's one of those weird.
No, it's a game preview. It's just constantly being developed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not done.
No, it's not finished.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
dude, they just dropped. I mean, I had actually finished all of the missions, and they just had this huge update, and I mean, it's gonna kind of be, I think, Andross, like Fortnite, where you have this one backyard,
Mhm.
but something happens to. I mean, I really had kind of dismissed the update because I was like, yeah, I've been over by the sandbox, I've done it all, whatever, I don't really care. But then when after like a few weeks of the update being out, I was like, I should go check it out. And that part of the map is just like completely different. Like there's the sandbox now, and now there's like it basically made it into a desert, and they added all kinds of new like mutated creatures, and it's just they're just gonna treat that like a Fortnite map and just shape it and shift it differently for each update. So
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to. I could talk all day.
So what have I been playing most recently? Before the cast, to prepare for the show, I was going for some more. I was doing some more Spelunky 2 attempts, going for that 10-minute clear the game in 10 minutes, which gives you like 30 seconds per level. I mean, you're just flying. You're cruising. Don't recommend doing that right off the bat. Just play it, have fun exploring and stuff.
Yeah.
You won't get that far anyway. Like I said, it is a tough game. I forgot how tough it was until Spelunky 2 came out, and I had just hyped up our community so much for the game, and so many people went and got it because Mike and I were just like, it's so great. And then we get it and we're like, oh guys, we're sorry. This is way harder than we remember it being. People are like, oh, you guys are just too good at games. We don't take my recommendations anymore. we play hard games. No, but I do think it's really fun, especially if you got Game Pass, give it a try for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I also busted out and played some Wii Sports Resort with my son.
Awesome.
On the Wii U, which has been a lot of fun. I've been continued playing Fortnite. I took a little bit of a break because I grinded incredibly a lot to get the Spider-Man outfit. I really wanted the Spider-Man outfit,
Sure.
so I got to that point, and I was seriously like doing the most ridiculous quests that you're not supposed to finish as early as I've finished. I'm out there in the ocean the entire match, just fishing over and over and over to catch fish for the like season long fish XP challenge. It was bad, man. And so I burnt myself out a little bit on that, but I'll be back to it because I want to get all the alternate costumes for Spider-Man as well.
That's crazy.
So that's how they got me this season. I mean, I had fallen off Fortnite for the last few seasons. I never even I didn't even get the battle pass the last couple, but I got it this one because I was like, I gotta get Spider-Man. Come on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then besides that, I have been doing a Nuzlocke on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. So playing through that, and it's slow. I'm taking my time with it, but it's a lot of fun.
So wait, I mean, I'm currently playing that game with my son. So you're working on getting a Nuzlocke?
No. Do you know what Nuzlocks are?
No, I'm really kind of a noob.
Oh man, okay, yeah.
Like
okay.
I played Let's Go and I played Shield and now I've played Brilliant Diamond. That's where I'm at.
So Nuzlocks are a like community created way to play the game. And essentially it's a hard mode where you enforce rules on yourself while playing.
Okay.
So the rules of Nuzlocke are you have to capture the first Pokemon in the area that in each area that you encounter. So you get to Route 1, the first Pokemon you get to, you have to catch that one. And yeah, they're usually like not the greatest, you know, like you're not out searching for the better ones. So you end up with a tougher team. And then you can't catch any more on that route.
Right? Oh, okay.
If a Pokemon faints, they are dead. You have to release them. It's
What?
permadeath.
What?
Wow.
And that's the basics of Nuzlocke. You also are supposed to name your Pokemon, so you develop a bond with them so that it hurts more when they die.
Fair enough.
This sounds like it'd be a very good stream, a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon.
Yes, yeah, that's how I'm streaming that over on the Nintendo Pals Twitch channel. So if you want to check out those as Nintendo_Pals on Twitch. In addition to that, there's more rules you can impose. That's the basics. I mean, that's the basics of Nuzlocke. I don't think I'm forgetting anything there. I am playing with no Pokemon centers and no Pokemarts as well. So
wow, potions and antidotes found on the ground only.
That's it. Yes. And story heals. So every once in a while, like a character will be like, let me heal you up. That kind of stuff. And it is intense, guys. I feel like I am playing not a Pokemon game. It is so much scarier. I mean, you get like some crazy attack with like a critical and you're like, oh my gosh. The stakes are much higher and it makes it more fun for me. I'm really liking it. It's revitalized Pokemon for me because I felt like Pokemon maybe it's gotten a little stale.
I mean, I've got Shining Pearl and I think I've got the first 3 badges and then I've dropped off. I'm waiting for the next one at the end of the month to come out. So
yeah, that's why I'm like, I probably should put the pedal to the metal here so I can be prepared for Pokemon Legends Arceus, not Arceus. That's
I'm glad you.
That's why I didn't go for the
name. Sean will make fun of me because Arceus sounds funny in his end of the world.
I'm glad you said it first because that's not how I've been saying it, so I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Man, that's interesting. I will say I do agree that I find Pokemon somewhat easy. Now I'm still a noob, so there are things that I'm like, there are times when I'm like, listen, I don't know, we haven't fought this guy yet. I don't know what works on this particular dude. So and my son and I are but I will say also, I absolutely love it. We played just today, and we just got the 5th badge in Brilliant Diamond, and we weren't like really on the ropes, but we had lost 3. This guy just kept doing this ghost move that we could not figure out, and so we brought out the Machoke, and I was like, I don't really know, we could be done here for the first time, and then he just we went with I think it was a dark move or something like that, and it took him all the way down, and the whole room, even my daughter who who was just watching us was like, we were all like, yeah, we did it, you know. And it's so funny, like it just there are those moments in the game where it just like brings everybody together that's watching, and so I appreciate it for that.
Pokemon has a fantastic formula. I mean, they nailed it right off the bat, and that's why they just keep making the same game over and over again. Essentially, I mean, if you play Pokemon games, are all very similar. Not a whole lot of innovation done to it. It's just kind of refining that formula, and it works. It's a good game.
Yeah, but this one's going to be quite a lot different. Not to get too much on a squirrel move. Arceus is going to be quite a bit different, right?
Oh yeah, I was actually talking with Micah. We're talking maybe doing a special Nuzlocke where we play cooperative Nuzlocke. So
Wow.
if we both catch a Pokemon, we keep track of them, and they are linked. So if my Route 1 Pokemon dies, his dies, and we have to work together to beat the game on separate. Man, like I said, we punish ourselves. we like to play hard games for some reason.
I couldn't do no Poke Centers or Pokemarts. Like that's a step too far for me. The other stuff does sound kind of interesting though. Like
it's super fun. I mean, you think about like Fire Emblem is a popular series that had that mechanic forever, like the permadeath with the RPG collect. You've got your collection of soldiers, and if they die, they're gone. And I mean, for some people, that's too stressful. They won't do it. I get it. But for me, I like the stakes because it makes me play different. It makes me be a little bit more strategic. You know?
Yeah, it totally would make you play different. Because right now, you know, like we lost 3 Pokemon. They fainted. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. Like my son's like, we should super potion that guy. I was like, no. I was like, just let him hit one more time. He'll faint. We'll move on. You know, like we got 5 left in the hopper. Like, don't worry about it. You know, we'll bring them back when we're done.
These are expensive.
Like Rocky moment. If it dies, it dies.
Yeah, it's a lot different. You'd have to really think about how you were gonna like spend those potions now. Take a turn to do that because you're gonna lose them.
I have a feeling if I went and did like Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, I could probably go back to that because I know the types. The thing that I'm struggling with the most in Pearl and Diamond is I don't know the Pokemon types enough to be strategic with the battle. That's the bit that I'm struggling with the most.
Yeah, and they started to do these things where they're like, here's this Pokemon, and look, it looks like a tree. Oh, surprise, it's rock. You're like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah.
You guys are just throwing these at me now just to mess me up. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for you, Andross, you've been playing?
No, I'm taking enough time blabbering on all my fun games I've been playing. I haven't had a whole lot of time to game, honestly. That's been over the last like 2 weeks. This last week, I spent all my time video editing for our YouTube channel. I just finished a video on beating Breath of the Wild blind by only reading the chat. It's a stream I did last year, and I just needed to get the video out. So, yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely go take a look at it. I watched the first about 10 minutes, and it's very impressive. Very impressive. I cannot imagine doing it.
Did you get to a spot where they started to kill me?
No. I ended.
I'm like, just set me on a path straight, and I'll just go. And I just run off a cliff. Yeah.
I think I ended at this. I watched the part, or I ended at the part where you were like, "How did I die?" And they were like, "Yeah, you ran out of stamina and drowned." And you were like, "Oh." And the look on your face was so funny. You're like, "Oh, that sounds bad." So yeah, no, it's very entertaining. Cut and edited really well. So good job.
Hey, thank you.
All right, Sean. What about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So before the episode last week, I played Firewatch, and I played a good half an hour of that. And we kind of went from day 7 to 35 or 55, day 15 to 57, I think. That game chops and jumps, so it's not like I played it for a lot. So this morning I streamed and finished Firewatch. So that was the game that I played this week. Really good game. I really enjoyed that. I had to look in the extras of like basically the extras that you can play with that, and you can roam around the entire map in a free play mode. just to walk around and hike and climb stuff and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
the story takes a bit of a dark turn. So from where I finished the stream last time of our last week's episode, and you're looking at the flapjack fire, from that section on, the game goes a little bit dark and a bit weird and a bit like not paranormal, but you end up feeling quite paranoid in the game, and you start to feel like somebody's watching all the time. And that's about as much as I want to say about it, because it's took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to finish. It's not a very long game, so I'd advise going to play it. So, and then the other game that I've played this week on the Xbox is EMBR, which is just absolutely mental. I played that again before we started streaming this evening, and it's a very human fall flat, moving out style physics game, but all done first person rather than third person. And you get a level. There's a building that's on fire, and you can either choose like a rescue mission, like a collection mission where you're collecting all the valuable items and taking them to a safe area, and you're armed with a fire hose, which you kind of refill from any source of water, be it a toilet, a sink, a bath that's full of water, anything like that. An axe to break down doors, like a see-through tablet device that kind of tells you where the clients are that you need to rescue, and then a ladder. And you've got to purchase the ladder. So if you finish the level without that ladder back in your inventory, you have to pay $50 to buy a new one. I did a couple of missions, and it's hilarious. It's just absolute madness. I can imagine it's a great game to play cooperatively, which I think is what it's targeted at.
Yeah.
Just because it feels very rushed to try and hit all the objectives in one go on your own. But it's just got great physics. It's hilarious to play. There was at one point with the clients that you're rescuing, you can drop them from any height you want, or get them to the safe area by any means necessary. But as long as they're in the safe area, they won't be harmed. And I was at the top of this building. It was all like there was a load of fire in front of us. Like, I'm not getting this guy out early. And I kind of looked out the window. I was like, the rescue area is literally outside this window, and I'm 2 stories up. And I just yeeted him straight out the window. He went straight through the window, straight to the safe area. I was like, that'll do. So. And when they die in the fire as well, it's like they don't just disappear; they just become bones on the floor that are on fire. So it's got a really good comedy aspect to it. So it's one I'd like to try and give it another go with a load of randoms and play cooperatively with a load of randoms just to see how funny it is.
It reminds me of that paramedics game that Nintendo came out with just randomly. I played it with Noah, and I cannot think of I'm gonna have to look it up. But that's like the idea that.
Oh no.
Yeah. The idea that I'm talking about. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Everything.
I thought my internet disconnected because everybody froze.
Yeah, mine too.
Did we freeze? I'm sorry. Okay.
Then everybody was frozen, and then it comes back to Sean going, like he was aware that he had just been frozen. it was pretty funny. He was like, "Oh, what just happened?"
Shake it off, Sean.
Did I just step into the twilight zone of Skype calls?
Stretchers, by the way, the stretchers from Nintendo. Yeah.
So and that's for Xbox. That's about it. I've been getting more to grips with Beat Saber. I'm now at the point where I'm doing most of the songs on hard and a couple on expert, but it's just like, you can only play it for so long, and then your arms feel like they're gonna fall off. So.
You need to attach like actual sabers to the end. Then it's a workout because you're weightlifting as well.
The issue I've got is that because like my palms start to get quite sweaty, is the controllers feel like they're gonna fly at my hands, so I am relying on those straps a lot.
Yeah.
So I've had a look at some like silicone grips and stuff today. Like a company called VR Cover that do a range of different accessories. So I'm waiting till payday, and I've got a couple of things that I need to
chalk up. Like you're going climbing.
Oh, I'm not even kidding. It's like what song was it? I was doing "Roll Out" by Limp Bizkit, and it was like, it's only an 89 like beats per minute song kind of thing. I thought I'll do that on hard. Oh my god.
Yeah,
all I
Beat
could say.
Saber is a fantastic workout
Yeah.
for sure.
I played it for 45 minutes today, and I think I sent Nick a picture of because I tracked it on my Apple Watch, so as a video game workout, and I burnt nearly 400 calories in 45 minutes playing Beat Saber.
So do you have an Oculus, Andros? Or
Micah does.
Micah, okay. All right.
Does. And so in college we played a lot of Oculus. I do not. I it's something I've been like on the fence on getting for myself as some sort of VR headset, but I think I want to get something beefier, but at the same time there's not quite the games there to justify spending more than you'd spend on like a Quest, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all I can say is I've tried, like I've said last week, I tried a lot of them. I've done the PlayStation, I've done Hive, I've done Nintendo's Labo system, and this so far has been
sure that counts.
has been like the one that I enjoy the most. So just yeah.
Yeah, I so Micah has the Oculus Rift, which they don't even sell those anymore, I don't think. But
No.
it's like the wired, and yeah, VR. I have a lot of love for VR. It was my senior project in high school. Made a little puzzle thing in VR.
Oh, awesome.
It's a good time. Not high school, college. We don't have
How old are
senior
you?
projects in high school. Yeah, I've just graduated. There's like nope. That was many moons ago, even for the college one.
There is a Nick style game coming to Oculus Quest.
Oh yeah.
I am very much called Garden of the Sea, and it is basically a first person Animal Crossing style game in VR.
Oh my gosh, no way. They're really making an Animal Crossing VR. I love it.
But
I love it.
Yeah, it's not animal, but you've got the farming aspect,
Yeah.
you've got the house building, you've got the island design aspect, all in the virtual real world as first person. So
that sounds pretty
I'm
good.
eyeing that up. And what's the other one that I've seen? Among Us VR, which they've took the game and completely reinvented it from the ground up for VR.
I feel like that's going to be way too scary.
Yes, this is what
I'm getting
I
100%.
said.
Even though it's like Among Us cartoony, like anything VR. I mean, have you played? Gosh, what is the gun game on Oculus?
Well, you think about it. Can you
there's
imagine
like
get a tongue sword in VR?
Robo Recall.
Oh, I've not played that yet. No.
Yeah, that one's not supposed to be scary, but everything scares me because you don't have your peripheral vision. You're like, oh gosh, what is? It's nothing. You know, that's me in VR.
So the other game that I'm looking forward to playing is Resident Evil 4. So yeah.
Nope, I will not be playing any Resident Evil VR.
Oh, that's crazy.
I did Biohazard in VR, and I had to rip the headset off my head when the girl started climbing up the stairs, and I was just like, so yeah. Like, oh, I'm done. Yeah. What about you, Nick? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing a few things. I've been playing, I finished The Pedestrian. So this means that Sean and I finished a game on the same week. This might be the first time this has ever happened on Game Pass News. Just once. So I beat The Pedestrian. It's this puzzle-based, man, it's hard to explain. But you're in this 2D plane and puzzle-based game where there's like 3 signs or 4 signs all around you, and you can usually move the signs around. And then you have to connect the signs from doors and ladders to get to the final sign. And it is a mind bender for sure. Like the first 2/3 of the game, I was just like zipping straight through, no big deal, and I was like, all right, we got this. But man, you get to the last third, and it gets really difficult. And I will say, one of the things they wanted to do is only use signs. Like that sounds dumb, but to only use signs. There's no text in the game, is what I'm trying to say. So when you get to this new game mechanic that they add, that's a little in depth, they can't tell you like, hey, when you do this, or when you connect this is what's going to happen, and here's to like tutorialize you into the game. You have to figure it out by them using symbols. And that was a little frustrating to me, because it was like, well, I don't really know, like I don't understand what's happening here. And I understand what they were going for, but I felt like that was probably the only miss. Other
So
than
they
that,
were
it's an
going for
awesome
not
game.
having to pay a localization team to make the
Yeah.
game in different languages.
Yeah, that very well could have been part of the reason why they did it. I don't know, but I will say the final level is something I've never seen before, where they you are playing in the 2D frame. They actually pull you out of the 2D frame sign, and you now start walking around on a 3D plane. First time you've done this in the entire game is the last level, and the map that's on the signs is also kind of splayed out on the 3D plane, and you have to use the two together to solve the puzzle. It is a mind bender, but it's really something pretty cool when you see it all come together. Um, second game I'll mention, Slime Rancher on the Xbox. I picked this up or downloaded it only because I saw on a bunch of my Xbox podcast people are really looking forward to Slime Rancher 2, which is coming out this year on Game Pass. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll go see what this is all about. Holy crap, did it get me. I mean, it's a first-person shooter, and it's a first-person shooter that also combines, like, Harvest Moon-style aspects, but instead of, like, farming, it's ranching. And you're just, like, sucking up these slimes, spitting them into these cages. You got to feed them the right thing. I mean, and if you don't do it, and it's a lot of exploring and learning on your own. They don't tutorialize you, tell you a lot about it. You kind of have to figure it out, and it's great. I have absolutely adored it. It's on xCloud. You can play it. I play it with my Backbone on the couch. It's a great game to play while you're watching like a TV show. It doesn't take a whole lot of brain thought. This like Spelunky is not a game of like story modes or anything like that. It's really about learning. And then we talked about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Been playing that with my son. Absolutely love it. Want to get through that. We won't pick up Pokemon the day of. Probably make or Pokemon Arceus. We won't pick that the day of. I'll probably make that like a birthday present. His birthday. He's a Valentine's baby, so probably make that his Valentine's present in February. So I want to get through that before February, so we can just kind of roll right into that one. And then finally, playing Myst Remastered with my mom, which is just an absolute joy because we played through all the Myst games on the PC when I was in high school. So it has just been a lot of fun to play through the Myst with my mom on the Switch. And we got like one level left and we'll be done with it. I said this, I think I talked about this last week, so I'll just say real quick. If you do not have any nostalgia for Myst, there are every other game that's come out in the 2000s is probably better, has a better UI, a better game mechanic than this game. Okay, so like, don't pick this up and think it's a gem of a pickup. It's not. It's a nostalgia buy 100%. But it has been a lot of fun. Like, legit, we wandered around because I was like, I can't figure out what I got to do. Where do I go? What do I need to have happen? And all of a sudden, it was like I had clicked just like a pixel off from where I was supposed to make the door open, and it was like, oh, okay. So that kind of like lame game mechanic problems are what like just muddy this one up. But in a nostalgia point, it's absolutely amazing. So that's what I've been playing. Breaking
It's a
news.
loaded. You guys played a whole bunch more than I played, and you finished them, which is cool.
We finished
Well,
something.
we aim to try and finish more games this year. As you can see behind me, this is all the stuff that's out now, and there is a few more games on here that I want to play and try and finish. So
Nice.
Why don't you take breaking news, Sean? I will.
yeah. So things that are out. What are we now? 12th of January. So as recording now, we've got EMBR, which we've talked about. Outer Wilds, which is up here, which is I believe a space kind of RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at this earlier because I was flicking through my phone trying
It's a
to
roguelike game.
decide what I was. Yeah,
Is it a time loop one?
Yeah, time loop.
It is a time
Okay,
loop. one,
okay,
yes,
yeah,
it is that one.
It's some people compared it to Majora's Mask with the time loop thing.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure about it because, like I said, I was sat on the sofa. We were watching some Grey's Anatomy, and I was flicking through my phone, thinking, what game do I want to like download to the console while we're watching this so I can play it before I record. And I almost hit Outer Wilds. I think there was like a 2 GB difference between Outer Wilds and EMBR for me to kind of play. So
I will say, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's like a 10 GB download for Outer Wilds, which isn't a right lot. Or was it 8? Okay, anyway. So it's not a massive game to download. So I'm assuming it's not a very long one, but it graphically looks quite nice to play. So because I almost streamed that one. So, and then the other game, which everybody's raving about, and I believe you're on about maybe trying, is Mass Effect.
Yeah, I want
that comes with the Ubisoft joint venture that's slowly coming to the Microsoft.
I want to play Mass Effect 2. That's what Hambone Johnny says is the one to play. If you're only going to play one, I'm not playing all three. That would be like a 100-hour commitment. Not going to happen for me. But I'm going to try Mass Effect 2. I've not played a Mass Effect game. I want to get one under my belt just to say I've played it. And so, yeah, I have it downloaded on my Xbox.
It looks fun. I watched Hambone stream
Mm-hmm.
some of that, and I was like, man, it's a good story. I mean, they know their stuff, so they've got a really cool system for like all the dialogue trees. I mean, they're like kind of the masters of that. That's BioWare, right? Like,
yeah,
and they just have fantastic stories. So
yeah, that's for sure.
And then what's coming out tomorrow or came out on Thursday as you're listening to this as a podcast, January 13th, you've got Anacrusis, which I believe you want to try and play a little bit of that on Thursday if we get a chance, or if not, you're going to just play it yourself.
Yeah.
And then Spelunky, which after Andross talking about it as much as he has and saying that there's got lots of different mechanics to it, could be the roguelike that I want to play as well. So,
did you guys like Metroid? Came out on
Yeah.
Switch. I don't know if you guys either you played Metroid Dread.
I might have played a little bit.
So I will say Spelunky is also one of the I should have mentioned this, but the controls, it's very tight and nice controls. It feels like a good platformer, and you feel very like in control, even better than like a Mario game, you know.
Oh wow, that's big praise right there.
I'm gonna say
I think so. It's just very tight.
Mhm.
I really like the like responsiveness of the character. In online, there's like slight delay with that at times, but I didn't notice it. We played through the entire game cooperative online. So
nice. With the Switch?
With the Switch. Yep.
Okay. No.
So yeah, when you said it ended, I'm currently still like doing sections of speedrun testing for Metroid Dread in like, was it in hard mode? So yeah, I need to get there's a big split that I need to learn and do like every time, which I can get it like every 1 in 5.
Oh, so you were completely joking, and that just went over my head. You played a lot of Dread.
I
You're trying
played
to
a lot of
speed run it.
Metroid.
Oh yeah, I was like I'm totally dumb.
Yeah.
I was
So,
like, oh well, you know, it's like that.
Yeah, no,
So,
we
yeah,
both really liked it.
and I'm trying to get the the super dash that you can't, I can't
Mhm.
remember the name of it. That's a very good weapon to use against the bosses, and I'm trying to master that as well at the same time. So there's a couple before I go ahead and try my first speedrun. There's a lot of skills that I need to learn.
All right, yeah, you'll like Spelunky a lot. If you liked Metroid Dread as much as you're liking it, and you're wanting to like figure out the speed runs, yeah, Spelunky is your game, man, for sure.
There you go. It might be Sean's first roguelike. I'm in for it.
I told you this is Spelunky is my favorite indie game of all time. Spelunky 2 is now my favorite indie game of all time.
Nice.
And I mean, I don't say that lightly. I
Sure.
do play a lot of games. And that one is just I don't know what about it just makes me pour 100 hours easy. Like I think I'm sitting at 110 in Spelunky 2, and I still have to get the secret ending. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick on these games out. Outer Wilds, if you want a good feel of flying into space and landing your craft, there's nothing like it in Outer Wilds. I mean, it is a great feeling of you have control over the different boosters, and the physics in that game is so spot on. The feel of the gravity when you're landing, and you're just like you're hitting the boosters to try to hit a solid, and you have to land on some crazy platforms. it's real good. That feeling is probably one of the best space feelings I've had. So yeah, I'm in on that. And then Anacrusis being like a co-op alien shooter, first person. I believe it's first person. Might be third. I don't know. I don't remember from the trailer anymore. I'm super excited about that.
Awesome. So we'll move into the party chat section. We have quite a few questions, some of which Andross is doing a nice little, some of which Andross has already touched on. So, yep.
Take that, party chat.
So the first one comes from Hambo and Johnny. What would it take for Mr. Nintendo pal, Mr. Andross, to get an Xbox?
I saw this question, and I'm gonna have I
This is the emoji underneath the whole arms crossed.
No, yeah. I don't think there is anything that can get me to buy an Xbox. I'm sorry, guys. Like I'm if I get Game Pass, it's gonna be on my PC at this point. So there's that. If they made Nintendo games, if they bought Nintendo and they made like Zelda was exclusive on Xbox, well, dang it, I gotta buy an Xbox then.
Yeah, that then goes into solo something literally put underneath that. If Pokemon released a game on the Xbox, that is when you'd crack under pressure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think so. Realistically, like I'm trying to think realistically, what would get me to buy an Xbox? Like I said, at this point, I feel like I don't think I would buy an Xbox. I would just get whatever it is on PC for Game Pass.
Yeah.
But if they realistically made an exclusive for, I talk about this all the time on our show, so no surprise to anybody listening from there, a Brandon Sanderson game, like a video game based off of one of his novels, like he does Way of Kings, Mistborn, and it was exclusive to Xbox, I might have to buy an Xbox to play that game.
Yeah, this is the guy that surprisingly just jumped into his novel. Surprisingly jumped into Fortnite. Is that correct? Am I thinking of the right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Mistborn, because he's friends with the director of Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
So
I never knew how that
so
like random
worked
thing
together
happened.
on a project, and he came back. The Donald Mustard, I think, is the Fortnite head guy, came and was like, "Hey, Brandon, could we put one of your characters into Fortnite?" Yeah. Most random crossover. I think there's probably like 10 people in the world that bought that skin. I'm one of them. Mike is the other.
Yeah. My favorite pre-show. I listened. I try to listen to most of the pre-shows for the Nintendo Dads. One of my favorite moments of the pre-show, I'll never forget it because it just really made me like actually like belly laugh, which I don't do often with podcasts. Is like Justin jumps on, Marty's on, and they're like, "What the hell is this Fortnite thing? I don't know who this guy is. I don't know." And you were guesting that night, and you hopped onto the pre-show, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, guys, it's so amazing! Have you seen this?" And they're like, "Oh, good. I'm glad you know who it is because we have no." It was so funny because they were like, literally, it was like comedic timing the way they were both like, "I don't know who this is. Who knows?" And you jump on like all like uber pumped about it. I thought it was great.
Oh man, it was like a Christmas present for just me and Micah. Like, like the one game, like, yeah, the Venn diagram of fans of Fortnite and Brandon Sanderson novels is, there's no cross.
Yeah, it's just like two bubbles. It's just like two separate bubbles.
It's a very, very brave connection, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then in between is Nintendo.
But his books are so good. I mean, it's really the only books I have read as an adult. I used to read a whole bunch in high school. Like I loved reading, or I just like devoured books like Harry Potter, the whole series, and all those kinds of things. And I really fell out of it. Just get busy as a grown up, being an adult, and your hobbies take up very little of your time. So that just all goes to video games for me at the moment. But I make an exception for Brandon Sanderson books, and that's the one. If you're gonna read one book, that's the one I'll recommend. And so, if they made a game exclusive for that on Xbox, which I think could reasonably happen, he wants to make games, and I don't think that whatever he does, it's not going to be running on the Switch. That's just based off of the kinds of stories he writes. Yeah, that's what I think would do it. There you go. There's your answer, y'all.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about the question? You know, you say, "Well, I can't see getting an Xbox. I do it on the PC." That's what I think some people don't realize. That's fine to Xbox. They do not care where you get
because
Game
I'm
Pass.
paying for Microsoft still.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
all the money's
Like,
going to the same place.
if you want to do PC Game Pass, they're cool with that. That's the win to them. So yeah, you on PC Game Pass is you on Xbox, and that's all it is. And you don't have to get the hardware anymore. Microsoft is more than happy. Or if you just wanted to get it in what I assume will be sometime this year on your smart TV with a controller, just like Stadia, that's a win to them. That's you on Xbox. They're good with it. So I think it's an interesting deal.
Yeah.
But can I say that, I do sit on the side, on the Nintendo side, and I look over in jealousy at certain aspects of Xbox fans, and one of those is the controller, and that you can get the like custom color controllers. Like, oh man, those are so cool.
Here comes the Game Pass.
That's right. You know it's gonna happen.
Oh man,
Official
I would
Game Pass
like
news.
if you could do that with Joy-Cons, man, that'd be sick. That'd be just be really cool. It's very neat what they've got going for certain things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's on the flip side. I know Xbox loves the portability of the Switch. Like they
if they could have babies, yes.
yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. What would the X Switch?
Yeah.
X Switch?
Yeah.
The X Switch.
They're gonna try hard to
Ninbox.
get their real
The
estate on the
Ninbox.
Steam Deck. So we'll see.
So, okay, so the next and last question comes from Chris HL94. And before I read this out, me and Nick had a slight discussion about this, and we might formally be inviting people to come and join us off the back of this question. When are you going to have Neo Prime, which is Sir Tim, who has been on the show before, on the show to gush about NHL 94 Rewind and other EA Sports games?
Wow. First off, Chris, I'm a little offended you asked that while I'm here. Okay. Okay, Chris. Listen, just because I'm not into hockey doesn't mean you need to come in here and I'm just kidding.
Listen, I want
NHL 94, bring it to Switch, please. Come on.
just for Chris.
Yeah,
just for Chris. He'll buy enough to justify the port by himself. Please do it.
I want Chris and Tim on together. I said it on Discord. It's public there. I'll say it here. I want you. And I know he's like, well, I don't have an Xbox. I want all the info on what makes this so important to Chris, on his history with NHL 94, with the whole deal. I want it all. I would just ask him. I don't care that he doesn't have an Xbox. I mean, look, we got Andross here talking about Spelunky.
Yeah, I don't have an Xbox.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
The other side to that is that now Tim owns an Xbox. I'd like to have him on to give his thoughts and views on the difference between playing PC and playing with the console, and like the variations, the difference in games that he's now got available at his fingertips. So
yeah, that would be awesome. So sounds good. Let's get them both on here. That's what I say.
yeah. So, and that's it. That's all the questions. A very quick skip through the golden ticket, as everything remains the same. Tropico 5, Neo Avoider, and Radiant Silver Gun are currently available. And what's next, as of probably this recording going out as a podcast, is A Ground and Space Invaders Infinity Gene.
You nailed it.
And that's
Glad to see Space Invaders finally making it over there. Like, come on, we've been begging for Space Invaders.
That's the one.
The fans have been just clamoring.
I'd love to know their numbers on Golden Ticket. That'd be great. I'm sorry.
As for things that are leaving is Desperados free, Ghost of a Tale, Kingdom Hearts free, Mount and Blade, Pandemic and Yeek, which is awful to say on a podcast. A Polish modern RPG are all leaving soon. So if any of those, which, like I said last week, Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably going to be the only one most people are bothered about. If you want to play those, hurry up, because they disappear at the end of this month, I believe.
Yeah,
Pandemic, they had to get rid of that one. They're like, listen, this just doesn't ride anymore. You need to get rid of the Pandemic game.
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings us to the end of this week's episode.
Well, you know what we
So-
didn't do, and this is on me because I'm supposed to do it in the beginning, and I didn't do it because that's what we said we would always do, and then I didn't do it, so it's my bad. We didn't give Andross time to just kind of like talk about the Nintendo Pals real quick. We said we would do that.
talk
at the
about
beginning.
myself. I'm good at that.
Yeah. So we want you, for anybody who, I mean, we have a bunch of crossover listeners, obviously, but for anybody who's not a crossover listener who doesn't know, what you guys are all up to with Micah and you and Nintendo Pals, we just want to give you the floor for a really hot second to kind of just talk about Nintendo Pals. What you do.
All right. This might take more than 1 second. I could try. Like,
Okay. Well, thanks. It's like you've already wasted your 1 second.
And that's everything,
It's over.
everybody.
Yeah.
Nintendo Pals. We do streams, YouTube videos, and a podcast. Nintendo Pals podcast. It is on all things Nintendo. We're family friendly and pro Waluigi. We are constantly doing just Nintendo everything. We cover in our podcast, we cover games we're playing, news, touch some rumors, and then community driven discussions and questions and topics. Very similar to the Game Pass news format, actually. And yeah, we have a blast doing it. We've been Nintendo only. Both of us are Nintendo only owners. I mean, we do have PCs as we stated here. Micah is in on Game Pass right now, actually.
Nice.
Playing. I should have mentioned he's playing Bug Fables over there, which is apparently really good. So,
Ooh, yeah, it is good.
yeah, and then in addition to the podcast, we do weekly game streams every Tuesday and Thursday evening. We are streaming games. Micah takes Tuesdays, I take Thursdays, and yeah, do all sorts of stuff. I like to do challenge speed run type stuff in Breath of the Wild. I also am doing, as I said, crazy things in Pokemon, but streaming Animal Crossing. It's a variety of things. We just, yeah, come check it out. We're trying to grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. They have awesome streams. They have an awesome community on Discord. Really cool guys, and I can't thank you enough for coming out and talking Spelunky and just listening to our craziness. So appreciate it.
It's a good time. Yeah, Game Pass News has always been a fun show to tune into live and listen to. Yeah. Even though I don't have an Xbox, I'm over here. I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys?
I do appreciate you stopping by, man. I really, really do.
When everything goes to plan. Hey, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about
that. Never happened.
That was the beta version of the episode.
That was our episode preview. All right, yeah. Send us out, Sean.
Cool. So, as always, our socials are at Game Pass News. That's Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. If you want to get in touch with us, give us any feedback or comments, you can send us an email to gamepassnewscast@gmail.com. And if you listen to this via podcast service, if you can, please give us some kind of rating. I know there's a few out there now that are doing a rating system. That would be Spotify. What's the other new one? But,
yeah, we're on Podchaser now.
We're on Podchaser. You're on Podchaser now. I need to go hop on a Podchaser, leave y'all a review.
I appreciate it.
I heard that you guys just joined. So
yeah. If you want to join us in the Discord chat, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. As little as $1 a month, and you'll find us there to talk to. A huge thanks to SAZ, Hambo and Johnny, Ebicel, yourself, Mr. Nintendo Pals, that have been hanging out in our live chat.
Mr. Nintendo Pals. You know what's fun? Okay, this is derailing this a little bit here, but because we're Nintendo_Pals, every once in a while we'll like raid streams and people will shorthand it and be like, "Hey, how's it going, Nintendo?" I'm like, it seems a little weird that they're just calling us Nintendo. Good time. Sorry, Sean. Back to your outro.
That's cool. It's cool. So anyway, thanks for joining us in the live chat, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Happy spelunking.